Alrighty, it is now rolling. So can I ask you to say your names for the recording for me, please?
Yes, my name is Emily Butler-Moor.
Estelle White.
Hello, Emily, and hello, Estelle. Now, with you two working with Gianpiero on this masterclass and working with such delicate material like Chekhov for you both, what would you say is the most beneficial part of their work, so the most beneficial thing about their work?
About Chekhov?
About Chekhov, yeah.
Well, I felt like studying Chekhov, I felt like what benefited me as an actor was that I had the opportunity to explore such a complex play and complex character, which had so many layers. So every day in the rehearsal space, working with Gianpiero or Alex, or even on my own, I was learning something new about my character, and it taught me so much about how when I study a character, I'm not studying a character, I'm studying a life. And Chekhov really demonstrated that in his work. And yeah, it just really opened my eyes to like how, say, Mash's background, that there's so much that goes into it, that Chekhov's thought about everything. And I felt like that really benefited me, even to be like, as a creator in the future, like I know how much you need to think about every minor detail. And I felt like that really benefited me in a way. Yeah.
Especially, I think looking back on Once Catholic compared to Once Catholic to like Chekhov's work, it's completely different, the things we've been doing with the work. And I think with the Chekhov work, looking at it has made me actually think of what Chekhov has put there, like the facts about the character, which I've never actually thought about. I always look too into it sometimes. But they kept saying to me, like, look at the facts that Chekhov has given to you. Everything is there for like a certain reason. Like it's not just put there for any old reason. And that's really like opened that to me now when going into like the Shakespeare work and that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Actually, I was going to say, I have a tendency to be like, I think this means this, but working with Gianpiero and Alex on Chekhov, and them saying about like reading the scripts and taking exactly what's on the script, it definitely changed my perspective a lot on how I approach my characters, because that was a habit of mine before, but now I'm more wary of that. Like I know where to start, and like I have to go through the script, and then I guess like further down the road we have that power eventually. But yeah.
So almost you go through, what is it, the stages where you obviously start to figure out who the character is, what their whole journey is, and then once you have a good understanding about it, start to play around, have more freedom with it rather than have a fixed idea of what's written in the script. Okay, now unfortunately, as we keep living it every single day in the COVID-19 pandemic, do you think once the pandemic's actually become under control, the performing arts industry will actually go back to the way it was working before any of the lockdowns or even restrictions started?
Kind of, but not. I don't know. I think with COVID, it's opened up more things, as in like online rehearsing or whatever, that sort of thing. So I think like auditions and places might do them online now because it's shown that they can do it online. But yeah, I think it's going to be different all around with it, I think.
I think in a way it's had its positives and its negatives. Like say, like Estelle was saying, we now have the opportunity to connect with people online, say someone that we would never meet in the real world who lives in a different country, we can now take classes with over Zoom, which was never really a thing before. So it's definitely encouraged the creative industry to kind of not test, but like think outside the box with like in a way of how they can approach a situation like COVID, because of course a lot of what we do is up close and personal, if that makes sense. So we've kind of been forced to do that, but that's also opened so many new doors for us. Like, say during lockdown, I was taking part in like workshops all the time, but I know that these people I would never meet normally, say they would be the other side of the UK or in a completely different country to me. So I think it has opened up a lot of new doors, but at the same time, I don't think our traditional ways will stay the same, purely based on the fact that it's easier now to go on Zoom and say do a read through, where obviously in the past we turn up to the read through, or like simple things like that. I think maybe it's easier this way, but at the same time I also think that theatres, they're going to have to be like, based on what they face through the past year, they're going to have to be so cautious, because like something like this happening again, we can't afford that happening. So I think they don't have a choice but to, create a whole new approach with the industry, because if we went back to our old ways and say COVID happened again, like, do you know what I mean? We can't afford that. So yeah.
Be a never-ending Groundhog Day basically for the entire industry.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. But has the pandemic actually affected the way you two work as actors, directors, as creatives? And if it has, how?
Let me think. Well, I think it's affected me in a way where, like I said, I've had more online. Say I've been able to take part in more workshops, and it's opened my eyes more to like the possibilities. Say I could create, I don't know, a play and contact all these people, and we can come together on Zoom, and it means that, like, I guess I'm trying to think of how to word this, but it's like financially, I guess I could benefit. Say I could do a read through. I don't have to pay. Do you know what I mean?
Like it's opened, being online, it's like opened more things in different ways. Like coming away from being there, your mind obviously travels and but you then start thinking about other things. So maybe because you start looking at things that you can do on Zoom and that when you're away from being at uni or college, and it's like, there's actually all these other things that I could be doing whilst
no, I agree.
Like how I do things, I don't know. Don't know.
Sorry.
It's a big question, isn't it?
I think if I had the power, I was gonna say, if I had the power, I'd probably prefer to keep to like the traditional approach. I also feel like it's benefited me in a way where, like, financially, like like opportunity wise for the pandemic, like to do, say, with workshops and stuff like that. I feel like the industry has been more connected than ever before, because we've had to keep this community in order to survive. So if we weren't as close as we were, then the tragedies that have happened to so many people, like it would have really affected them. But I think having this community online, it means that, like, we're going into, like, growing up into such a welcoming community, I feel like, because we've faced so much together, if that makes sense.
It's definitely stronger, because obviously when we were on Zoom, and it's like, the end, like near to like the Zoom, and we'll be back together. So like when we came back together, it was so strong. Everyone wanted to put like 100% in, and you're because of you seeing what has happened, it makes you what's the word, like so grateful for being there. So you're what's it called, you're appreciating it more, I guess, like
extremely like
wouldn't usually do that.
like cherishing every moment in the rehearsal space where you're with the actors and with the whole energy and stuff, which is very nice.
Everything you're learning, like everything.
I think we appreciate our craft more after everything that's happened. And I know that I'll go in and I'll like into the industry with so many plan Bs because this could happen again, but I think it's made us more wary of what could happen because this could happen again. But us going through this at a young age, of course, luckily in education, like it's not our career at this point, so we've not been in such a financial, such a bad financial situation. It's like we know that in the future we could be at risk of having that happen to us, so at least we know now we could go to do something online. We have the opportunity. So say if this show is cancelled because of the pandemic, we can take the rehearsals online. Like, we have these different options now laid out for us that say if this was to ever happen again at our age, we're aware of that.
It's the directing projects.
Like,
exactly. This year, obviously, we're only allowed 3 people each, and that's like been like a certain thing from the beginning and stuff. So we're all working on our own as well now. So like they're thinking ahead, and like when we were speaking to Vanessa's like, they're planning what will happen if we can't do it and stuff. So like everyone now has to always think of a plan B because of what's happened, because if this happens again.
It's just a new normal.
All about adapting to change, which is what we do anyway. But I think COVID has really shown that adapting to change so much more.
100%.
Do you think live audiences will have missed live theatrical performances once they're allowed to be reopened again in a safe, controlled way?
Wait, what do you mean? Like, have they missed?
Oh, sorry. Let me rephrase that without sounding odd. Do you think audiences have missed live theatrical performances?
100%. I know I have. I think it's not the same. Like when you're at home watching like National Theatre from your living room, you don't have that same sensation. I feel like it's just unmatched. When you're in the theatre, you feel the energy of like the actors and you feel the energy of the whole performance. And I don't know about, I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same, but it always gives me that that motivation I need, or like that it's just a reminder of why I love my craft. And I feel like not having that, it has been hard at times, because you need that sometimes to see someone professionally doing what you love, so you can be like, that's where I want to be. Like I feel like
it's never the same when you're watching it from home. It's never the same. So I have no doubts that people have missed being in the theatre.
100%. I think it's a part of humanity that we've been missing for so long, and the fact that it's been treated the way it has, I'll never get my head around it because it's ridiculous.
To be honest, it's still going to this day, so it's almost just like, well, we just have to keep carrying on, obviously, keep going and stuff. Speaking of keep going, for me, that's one of the things that's helped me highlight the pandemic, about the whole situation with COVID. Just almost, you've got to keep going no matter how tough it is. But what do you hope that the pandemic has highlighted in our modern world today?
Let me think. I think the pandemic, you know what? I think the pandemic has really highlighted the power of technology nowadays. Like, how ridiculously impressive is technology? Like, we have been able to stay connected and in communication with each other as if the person's just in the room. Like, say we'll be doing quizzes, like obviously fun leisure. We'll be doing quizzes with like a drink or something, and you just have a great evening, but you're just sat in your house. But like, who would have thought that technology could do that? Like, it's brought so good into the world. And as well, I feel like it's very highlighted that technology is a bit, it's like taking over and all this, the robot.
Yeah, it's literally highlighted how technology is literally massive in the world. Like, that is literally like social media.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
But I always, not always, I don't always think this, but like, I've thought this before. Imagine this pandemic happened when we only had like Nokias or like the Snake game. Like, we'd be sat in our rooms. Yeah, exactly. Like, all we have is a phone call. You can't see the person. Like, I don't want to imagine how it would have affected us, like, mentally or even physically, like not being able, I don't know, was that, no, maybe not physically, but yeah, I guess in a way, I don't know, but just as people, we need that interaction with other humans, and technology, I think, has really helped that. Like, it is really highlighted that, oh wait, let me figure out how to word this. Technology, and it is really highlighted to me, technology has really stood out to me as one of the good parts, I think, of COVID. That's what I think. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's what I think.
Like, with that, like, everyone should realize how lucky they actually are that we do have it, because if this was happening, you know, back in the day, like, I don't know, I think people need to be more grateful the fact that we do have the social media and that.
Yeah.
Many people who this whole time have just been like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Gone out and that, when we were in like the highest of it and that. But
yeah, we're very lucky.
Made me think how lucky I am in that.
Yeah.
And the possibilities of doing things during lockdown and stuff that there has been with like social media and stuff. Like, there's been loads of things going on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to say as well, it's also, I think it's just really brought humanity together in a way which I obviously I'm only 18, but I never noticed it before in my life, like humanity being so connected. And we were all facing something as awful as COVID together. Like, it wasn't like a war, like, we weren't like against each other. Like, it's the first time I've ever really seen humanity just help each other. Say a young family buy shopping for their old neighbor. It's like things like that, seeing that online, it filled my heart with joy, and it just made me really grateful to have a community. Of course, where I am, I have a very good community around me. Of course, it could be different with other people, but from my point of view, I've just felt very lucky to have these people around me. Yeah, it's been interesting, to say the least, COVID.
Yes, but hopefully we're on the end of it now. Touch wood, he says. But no, like, things will get better and things will get much more optimistic. But thank you very much for your time, Emily. Thank you very much for your time, Estelle.
Thank you very much, Alex.